Welcome to the Tampa Bay IIBA chapter. Today is June 4th, 2026, and today we have the pleasure of having Ignace Mba teach us bring us AI that augments, not replaces, responsible adoption in a world that cannot opt out. We already know we can't opt out, but we do need responsible adoption. In today's session, he's going to explore how business analysts and organizational leaders can approach AI adoption more intentionally instead of just throwing everything we have at it. I'm looking forward to this presentation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Thea Soren. I'm the president of the Tampa Bay IIBA chapter. I've been in this business for about 30 years. I helped write the body of knowledge. I've done a few things. We've got a couple of books out, but all those are just reasons that you can trust me to help you if you need assistance. Reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have questions or concerns, and I'll do what I can to assist you. For those of you who are new to the IIBA, let me tell you a little bit about it. The IIBA is the global governing body for business analysis, just like PMI is for project management. We are the organization that has about 30,000 members worldwide, 120 chapters wrapped around the world, and we have certifications. Just like PMI has the PMP, we've got the CBAP, and it is a hard test, just like the PMP, and it shows that these people have really, really learned their craft. At the core, IIBA exists to elevate the impact of business analysis, helping us make better decisions, deliver better outcomes, and ultimately make the world better, one business and one project at a time. So what are the benefits of you joining the IIBA? You get access to training provided by chapters around the world. You get complimentary access to 25,000 outstanding books, including the Babak, along with webinars and additional resources, and you get discounts on the certification exams. IIBA chapters are in major cities around the world. If there isn't an active chapter near you, we can talk about you starting a chapter, or you're welcome to the Tampa Bay IIBA. Members of the Tampa Bay, Florida chapter are not restricted to residents of Florida. In fact, Tampa Bay IIBA chapter has participants literally all around the globe. If you do not have an IIBA chapter, Tampa Bay can be your chapter. Our vision here at Tampa Bay IIBA is to build a thriving community of empowered business analysts. So why would you choose to join our chapter? We offer multiple training sessions each week, including CBAP prep and coaching, and an acclaimed SDLC workshop, among other things. You can view our upcoming events here at our website and posted across LinkedIn and Facebook. And we have over 300 events that we've participated in or provided, including our BA masterclasses, to organizations around the world. Those events are available on YouTube at our channel there. And if you go to rpchurchill.com, there's an easy way to get to our channel, but Bob Churchill has also created an amazing index. In fact, we call it Bob's Amazing Index of all of these events. And you can look at them by speaker, by topic, by date. It's an amazing thing. Thank you, Bob. As a result of putting on all of these trainings and mentoring hundreds of individuals, the Tampa Bay chapter was awarded the Global IIBA Professional Development Award of Excellence. And this is our esteemed board. I'm so very proud of the efforts of each one of these individuals. They contribute and they help us all rise. We currently have 2 CBAP training classes underway. If you're interested in CBAP and you've been studying, you can reach out to me about joining our CBAP groups. Past members of our CBAP groups have gone on to earn their certification. Some people have actually just watched us on YouTube and studied along with us and been able to earn their certification. This list is a list of people that have earned their certification and called us or let us know that they credit us with their ability to have passed that certification. It is not easy. Another thing we've recently done is put out this book. This is the second in the series. This is 12 industries that BAs are in. This is the first 12 over here. They're both available on Amazon. And we're really excited because the second book is really about industries from a global perspective. Some of these industries are from multiple countries. And so, for instance, manufacturing is in the United States, or then the opposite is in Nigeria. So you can see that business analysis is the same all over the world. It also gives you case studies, the governing bodies, the regulatory bodies, techniques that you might use, and real studies from real BAs that have lived it. I want to spend a moment and give appreciation to our partner groups. Our number one partner group, though, is you, those people who participate with us and who are members of our chapter. We also partner with other organizations. We have over a dozen organizations that are IIBA chapters around the world. And then these other chapters that are in their forming stages that we're mentoring right now. We partner with other organizations that are not IIBA chapters as well, and with recruiting companies and training companies. We partner with Purdue University, their AI capstone project. We also have discount codes for you. Just because you're participating with us, Watermark Learning offers you a 40% discount using this code. With this discount, you can get access to their test bank. This is all of their test banks for the for the BABOK. They have 1,200 questions in this, and this is what I use for my CBAP training classes. Adaptive US also specializes in only business analysis. They have over 90 free items on their website, and they offer our participants an extra 20% discount on all live classes and on-demand courses, excluding their IIBA exam vouchers. Let me tell you what's coming up. In next week, we have human-centered AI and transforming conversational data into meaningful insights. I'm going to go through these pretty fast because I've got a lot of stuff coming up. The week after, Joel Silverstone is going to be giving us a presentation on giving feedback that inspires action, not resistance. The week after that, I'm going to give a presentation on stakeholder management practices for better project outcomes. Pete is going to give us AI tools for caregivers, building for the hardest moments. And then July 9th, we have From Hidden Workflow Dependencies to Scalable Automation, a business analysis case study. Let me skip a few slides here. I want you to all come back for August 13th, though. We've got a panel of recruiters from across North America. They're going to answer questions on things like, what skills do business analysts need to be learning now for what the roles that are coming up in 6 months? What are the problems and mistakes business analysts make? What are the things that make us qualified to either get a job or move up in our careers? They have the tea. Let them come spill it. So giving you a whole lot, you can find out all of these and register for all of these at our chapter, tampabay.iiba.org. Cliff is kind enough to put this on our LinkedIn channel as well. And we have all the recordings of everything we've done that we could on YouTube. And again, rpchurchill.com is a great way to get to YouTube and find out which presentation you want to start. Now I'm going to turn it over to our presenter and take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Tia. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, where did it go? Give me 1 second. Can't find the bar. You made me co-host,
Look
right?
at the very bottom of your screen in the center. If you move your
Yeah,
cursor down there, it generally will appear.
It's not doing it. Got a black screen here. Let me start over again. Yeah, the bar was there. I have a black screen. I think I don't know if I have to log out. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right.
If you
Now,
are running a two-screen setup, it may be on the second screen.
Yeah, no, it got minimized. So now I find it was behind the PowerPoint. So I find it now. So now I gotta go back
Perfect.
full screen.
Look at our teamwork,
Everybody should.
guys. I'm impressed.
Presentation modes. Share. All
Those
right.
of you who are
Can
new,
everyone see my
welcome.
screen now?
It's coming up, and yes, we can. Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you again, Tia, and welcome everyone. My name is Ignace Mba, and I'm the CEO of Visa and AI First Consulting and Software Development Company. So tonight, I want to talk about one of the most important choices that organizations face today, whether AI become a force that strengthens human work or a force that gradually replace it. So I'm not here tonight to sell fear. I'm not here to sell hype either. I just want to make the case that AI augmentation is possible, but it will not happen by accident. So the big question before us tonight is, it's that is that will AI strengthen human work or will it quietly reduce human value? So this is the central question for this session because I do not believe that augmentation happens automatically. If we adapt AI carelessly, replacement pressure become the default. But if we adapt it responsibly, we can still redirect AI towards a human-centered outcome. So before we continue, I want to run just a quick poll and just in one word, and Tia, could you? Okay, good. So in one word, I want you to tell me how you feel about AI at work now, even if it's not our job. So we have four choices on the screen. So I'll be curious. All right. So we're going to give it 30 seconds again. Give everyone time to respond. Okay. All right. So far we have okay. So the first poll, it's we have 44% are excited, 38 are curious, 13 are worried, and 6 are prepared. So this is good. It's good. It's a good mixture. What I see here is that there's a lot of excitement about AI and curiosity, which is the majority, and 6% prepare. I guess one person, one respondent, and then 13, which is two, based on the crowd that are worried, which I think reflects. So it may be a good thing, and this shows why this conversation it's important because of the mixture of answers. People, it shows that we are all at different places. So let me tell you a little bit how this journey began for me. So 3 years ago, when the ChatGPT moment happened, right? It seems like that was like a long time ago, but it was only 3 years ago, right? When that happened, I was very excited about the possibility that I saw, and I just started studying AI and just start playing around with the tools. And then this curiosity, as I start studying and realizing that also I become a little bit concerned because I also saw some risk, some potential risk in the technology. So this curiosity led me to pursue a Master of Science in AI at Purdue, to better understand this technology. However, the deeper I study, the more concerned I became about the societal implication as I realized that this is not just another technology shift, but that it is a civilizational shift that will have profound ramification. I'm actually writing a book on this topic, just to that talks about the fact that AI is not like any past previous technology, and we cannot use the past metric to predict what the future will be. I'm hoping to release it this fall. So I want to clarify something. I am not anti-AI, but my concern is that frontier AI companies are designing systems to mimic human capability, thereby creating a high risk of replacement, amongst other things. At the same time, many organizations are deploying this system without enough thought about human value, accountability, social impact, and long-term consequences. So that's one of the reasons why, I like talking about this topic. So to better understand why the concern, let me tell you a little bit what I believe is a design flaw. You see, modern AI needs three main ingredients. I mean, needs more, but the three main ingredients, the first one is the engine, a powerful computer that requires massive processing capacity to train and run the model. The second one is the brain, an algorithm, which is nothing a fancy word for step-by-step instruction for solving a problem or completing a task. And then the third one is the fuel, right, which is the data. And that data, what is it? Human work captured as training material. These three ingredients is what drive modern AI breakthroughs. So nowadays, data is the most important ingredient. Data is the raw material that shape how AI systems learn, how they decide, how they adapt. And most of these breakthroughs are made possible because of data. So no data, no modern AI. That is why there is actually now called the new oil, So, and guess where it's coming from, where that oil is coming from? From us. So, as you can see, even on the right side from the AI production cycle, you see that human output is used to train model that can then produce human-like output at machine scale. This pipeline has many profound societal implications. For example, when AI replaces a human worker, it is often doing so with capability derived from that very type of worker. The ethical and social consequences of that dynamic are still unfolding. Modern AI learns from our best work, such as creativity, wisdom, kindness, empathy, love. But on the flip side, it also learns from our biases, our mistakes, cruelty, misinformation, our broken systems. That is why it is difficult to expect fundamentally different outcome from system trained on human output at machine scale. So the frontier AI company are building AI system to mimic us. But guess what? Don't worry, AI is not becoming human. It is just becoming very good at producing work that looks like human, writing, analysis, code, summary, images, decision, voices. Have you heard about this? Have you heard this latest voice AI agent? I mean, that sounds just like us. It's scary. So that is why this replacement conversation is serious. The technology is built around replication of human-like capability. So it's not surprising that it produces output that looks increasingly human and it affects the public perception. A recent poll from the New York Times and the CNN found that about 16% of respondents, say that AI is mostly good, while 35% say that AI is mostly bad. It's kind of different than our poll. We are more optimistic, right? So, but this poll shows the perception that people have about AI. Many people are not irrationally afraid. They are reading the same headline, incentive, and workplace signal that we are talking about tonight. You can see even from this, even today I just made a quick Google search, just to kind of see like today's headline. You could see some of the top story, like the New York Times. Is AI replacing tech worker or providing an excuse for job cuts? Right. So this is today. This is today's headline. So and this leads me to say that the public fear is not irrational. People are reading the signal. So now let's talk a little bit about what we mean by replacement or augmentation, AI replacement or AI augmentation. Uh, Let me move this poll out of the view. Can you guys see the poll? Or should I just? Okay, you guys can see. Okay, that's good. So, okay. So replacement refer to the fact that AI is using systems to reduce human involvement, whereas augmentation uses AI to strengthen human capability. Replacement and augmentation use the same tools, but they are driven by two different strategies. Replacement asks questions like, how do we use AI to reduce our headcounts? A replacement treats people as cost to minimize, whereas AI augmentation treats people as capacity to multiply and ask questions like, how do we use AI to increase our employee performance? These are the kind of questions that decision makers wrestle as this model, or will continue to wrestle with, as this model continue to become very good at producing work that looks like human. And that is why replacement conversation is it's important. What does replacement look like for BA or PM, business analyst or project manager, for example? AI can generate requirement, analysis, user story, risk and scope management with a letter to no human reviews. While augmentation on the other side, AI helps draft analysis and organize, while the BA or the PM validate the assumption, challenge the gap, understand the stakeholder, manage trade-off, and most importantly, own the final decision. So I just want to be a little bit intellectually honest tonight. Replacement can be tempting. One of the main reasons is the cost-cutting argument. Headcount is often one of the largest expense in most organizations. So reducing it through automation can improve margin very quickly. An investor like that. So, however, it's important to note that replacement does have expensive hidden costs, knowledge loss, innovation drought, because you see, AI can optimize existing work, but it cannot create new one. So we also have things like customer experience degradation over time, regulatory risk, reputational risk, and the quick gain that we gain is usually a short-term margin. Augmentation, on the other hand, help organizations improve efficiency and performance, creating new value, and strengthen morale and trust, leading to a healthier work environment, better service, stronger customer relationship, and a more resilient organization. So replacement make your organization profitable faster, but only for a short period of time. Whereas augmentation takes more time, but can keep you profitable longer. So the best long-term strategy is not simply fewer human, but it's better human working with better tools. And that's what augmentation strive to do. And I also want to clarify one misconception. Usually when people say AI replacement, they think about just all the job in one profession being gone. No, replacement doesn't mean that, an entire profession disappear. It may look like more like work compression. 10 employees become four employees become two become one, and oftentimes, you start seeing things like the first impact, junior roles shrinking first. You have junior employee expected to produce senior level output earlier because AI handled the tasks they used to learn from. Then for BA, this is very real because AI can draft requirements, summarize meeting, generate user story, analyze document, create process flow, and even identify risk. And you tell me that that's good. Yes, it can be helpful. But if a junior BA who no longer get to learn through that work, the pipeline becomes weak. So And my question is that if AI performed the work junior BA used to learn from, where will future senior BA come from? And those are the things that we have to start thinking about. So, and the replacement pressure is not only a concern for regular people, you know, but some of the very people building this technology are using very direct term. There's so many examples that I can list from today, but I just choose very few. Jack Dorsey, one of the co-founder of Twitter, and now he's the CEO of was the Block, which is formerly known as Square. Recently connected his recent restructuring and workforce cut to AI and the need to have smaller team. Fiverr CEO Michael Kaufman warned that AI is coming for your job and urged for upskilling. Goldman Sachs reporting has cited expected headcount reduction tied to AI efficiency. Dario Amadeo, Anthropic CEO. Many of you probably use Claude. That's Anthropic, their flagship AI model. He warned that up to half of entry-level white-collar job could be affected within 5 years. Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleiman has also made very aggressive prediction about automation of white-collar work. So I am not saying that all this prediction will come true exactly as they said. I don't know. But the point is that some of the very people who are creating the technology are warning that the replacement is real. However, I also want to caution that the labor market has not yet confirmed the mass unemployment story. In March of this year, the US unemployment rate was at 4.3%, almost similar to what it was in March 2020, right before COVID. So I'm not claiming that mass unemployment has already arrived or is there soon. My view is more cautious. If nothing changes, replacement pressure becomes more likely over time, whether earlier or later than today's prediction. So while the macro data doesn't yet prove the worst case scenario, the warning signs are too serious to ignore. So let's talk a little bit about the capability, before I give you more like tangible, more practical stuff. I want to talk a little bit more about the capability curve and why it matters. What is AGI, ASI, RSI? For time's sake, I'm just going to give a very simplistic definition of this term. AGI, or again, artificial general intelligence, generally referred to AI that can perform most tasks human can perform across many domains. And if you follow the news, all the AI, the major frontier AI company are racing to be the first. Not even just the AI company, even government, especially US and China, are racing to be the first to reach AGI because that is the tipping point. Right? And then ASI is artificial superintelligence, referred to systems that exceed the top expert across most domains, if not every domain. So RSI, or recursive self-improvement, refer to advanced systems that can improve themselves continuously, thereby accelerating exponentially the pace of development. So it's almost like putting a machine in a loop where they keep improving themselves continuously. And even today, there are a lot of startups that are being funded to be able to push, to continue to drive this technology, this technology, because that is what is going to cause this system to start growing like just exponentially. So the point is not to predict the exact year AGI or ASI would arrive. The point is the trajectory. AI systems are becoming more capable, more autonomous, more deeply embedded into work. We do not need to wait for AGI to act responsibly. Current AI already changing workflow, productivity, expectation, hiring pattern, and value of certain skills. So the question is now, will AGI arrive next year or in 3 years, 3 years from now? The question is, are we building the guardrails and governance habit now that we will need when this system become even more powerful? And I want you to remember that the dumbest AI that we have is the one that we have now. So they're only going to get better. So if today AI already creates replacement pressure, tomorrow's more capable AI will multiply the need for governance, accountability, and responsible adoption. So let's talk about AI adoption now. AI adoption is not simply letting employees use ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, or another AI platform. AI adoption is the strategic integration of AI technology into an organization's daily workflow and core business processes. This means what? Deciding how AI enter into how the organization works, decide, serve customer, manage knowledge, evaluate people, and create value. So as we saw earlier, a large percentage of people have negative perception of AI, which cause them to resist its adoption in organization. Some of the reason people resist AI are because of skepticism, change fatigue, fear, or the pace of change. Humans are not designed to process this much technological change this quickly. And also, when employees believe AI is being introduced to replace them, they will resist, disengage, or quietly stop trusting leadership. So people do not resist AI because they do not understand it. Some people. Sometimes they resist it because they do understand the business incentive very well, which could be to train an AI that will replace them. So I think we run both poll. I don't, there's a second poll. I think you guys, okay, both poll was run at the same time. So I see here the second poll was, kind of your sentiment now about, how you feel that AI been introduced, which is I see 47% empowerment, 47% efficiency, and 7% replacement. So this is good because I see, especially in this crowd, I'm not surprised. We have professional, we have a lot of people that are here. I'm sure already probably work in organizations that are putting together in place some good AI governance and practice and things like that. So there's a lot of that, and I guess I'm coming from an angle where I would like to see more organizations realizing that there is a need because we could also be oblivious of where we're heading and just excited that, hey, this we're going to do this, we're going to do this and that. And I was listening to a former CEO, a former executive of Google called Mogadat, who was actually warning that CEO and upper level management right now are replacing, thinking about job cut, replacing just entry level and then mid level. But then he was actually also warning them that, hey, your job is next because as this model continue to improve, they will come for your job too. And he said that currently in his startup, his CTO is an AI agent. His project manager AI agent, and he said he's geek enough to be able to string together those things and use them now to boost efficiency. But like within a couple of years, those when all those things will be abstracted, it will be available for most people just as just packaged as a software. So those are not unrealistic. Those are things that those are use cases that are currently used right now, even on the market. But the technology is not there yet. But as we said, because of the curve, the trajectory, as they continue to improve, there is a risk there. So for BA, why does this matter for BA? So as a business analyst, you should not be a passive observer in this AI shift. BA as a BA, you understand stakeholder, requirement process, decision, and change management. That means you are uniquely positioned to influence whether AI enter workflow responsibly or carelessly. In the AI era, BA roles are evolving. You are becoming workflow designer, risk translator, human-centered advocate, governance partner, AI adoption interpreter, accountability protector, and most importantly, strategic bridge builders. As AI entered the workflows, the BA cannot just document the workflow. The BA must challenge, redesign, and govern the workflow. Responsible AI is not only a policy document, it becomes real when AI enter a process and begin influencing decision, action, and outcome. So now I want to get a little bit more practical. So I'm going to give you some practical tools that you can use tomorrow, to start to adapt AI responsibly. The first tool that I'm going to give you, we're going to start with this checklist. And this can be used for anyone, business leader, BA, PM, product team, operation leader, and anyone who is responsible for enable AI enabled work. So before your team approve documents or redesign an AI workflow, here is a responsible AI adoption checklist with 10 questions that should be answered. Because responsible adoption is not about whether the tools work, it's about the business or the customer problem, the human role being changed, the decision being influenced, accountability, data, bias, human oversight, and success metric beyond cost and speed. If your team cannot answer this question, the AI workflow is not ready for responsible AI adoption. If you remember nothing else from this talk, take this checklist and bring it to your next AI conversation. This question will help you ask not only whether AI can do something, but whether it should, under what condition, what oversight, and with what accountability. So I know, I don't know if some of you guys are writing them down. If you want the presentation after, I could share the slide. You guys can have them after. You could contact Tia. She will share the slide so you don't have to write everything down. So this is the first tool. This is where you start. If you want to redesign your, like if you want to really adapt AI, you start with this checklist. Start with this checklist. And then we move into responsible AI requirements. So after you've gone through the checklist, use this requirement to translate your answer into actual system behavior. It is not just enough to say that we want human oversight. We want safe AI. Requirements make those ideas concrete by defining what the system must do, what it must not do, when human must review and approve, and how accountability is preserved. For example, if AI should not make the final decision in a high-risk situation, the system should label output as recommendation, allow human overrides, log review, escalate low confidence cases, and prevent AI-only decision. So BA can turn this concern into functional and non-functional requirement, and project manager can make them part of the product requirement, release readiness, risk control, or user trust features. So responsible AI becomes real when it shows up in what the system must do and what it must not do, and what human can review, overwrite, and then audit. So again, this is when you have this requirement, it makes those the initial checklist even more concrete. So if you notice, we have been emphasizing the importance of human in the loop. human role in the workflow as part of responsible AI. So here is another tool that you can use to decide the right level of human involvement in a workflow. You can use this risk classification framework to classify use cases by risk and determine human involvement. So the first one, so we're going to do the first one, it's the low risk. These are use cases that may only need basic accuracy review and require minimal to no human intervention. So an example of this could be AI summarizing meeting notes. So the second one would be the medium risk. Use case for this use case needs human review and things like audit trails and the clear escalation paths. And an example of this could be AI prioritizing, let's say, customer support or triaging email or things like that. But a high-risk case require governance approval, strict human in the loop approval before any action is finalized, and a clear decision ownership. A high-risk case could be something like AI recommending loans, eligibility, or hiring decision, AI making hiring decision, medical triage, employee performance, and things such. But there's also a classification of certain systems that should be prohibited, that should never be even, that AI should never enter in the first place. And some of these are where you have things like hitting score, no appeal process, no transparency in the system, or serious potential harm. This is cases could be like policing and all those type of things, scoring, social scoring system and all those type of systems, those should be prohibited. So the goal is not to slow everything down, but to match the level of human involvement to the level of risk. The more serious the consequences, the more visible the human decision point must be. So now let's look at the AI workflow model. Responsible AI adoption does not only happen in policy document, as we said earlier. It continues to become real when AI now enters into the way words get triggered, analyzed, approved, acted upon, and improved. Regardless of your role, you know, these 5 questions that on the screen remain the same. What triggers the AI? What is the AI doing? Where must human decide? What happened next? How do we learn from the mistakes? So the two most important part of this workflow are the human decision point and the feedback loop. The decision point is where accountability enters. Since AI learns from our data, our mistake and biases, it is important to double check its output when decision affects people, customer, eligibility, safety, money, reputation, or trust. The feedback loop is where the organization learn instead of repeating the same mistake. If these are not in place, then the organization does not have a responsible AI and is only automation with no memory. When using this workflow, a BA, for example, protects its integrity, and the PM or the business leader protect the product value. This workflow help decide where AI assists, where human decides, and how the system learns. So this is where it gets a little bit fun. We're going to have a little exercise. So here is a sample scenario. I want us to review it together. So the scenario is that an AI system review incoming customer support ticket and assign urgency level. So this sounds like a sample, very simple, right? But I want you to know that even a simple workflow can have hidden serious risk. For example, if the AI misclassify a ticket, a serious customer issue may be ignored. If the process has no escalation path, then the mistake become invisible. If there is no feedback loop, the same mistake happen again. And you can quickly see how things can get worse over time. So I want to do a little, like I say, just a little interaction. So if you could just join me in the chat. So there's 5 questions on the right side. So I would like you to answer this question in the chat. So we're going to go one at a time. Let me close this. So the first question is, what is the input in this scenario? I can read the scenario again. The scenario is on the left side. AI system review incoming customer support ticket and assign urgency level. So what is the input for this use case? Anyone? Okay, I see the ticket, customer. Okay, I see the urgency level. Okay, yes. So here, the input here is the incoming customer ticket. So this could be what? Emails. It could be, and that's what would trigger. It could be an incoming email. It could be in a chat. It could be a web form that is submitted. It could be some type of issue. It could be a keyword that would trigger the system here, right? So to start. So the second question is, what is the AI task for this one? What is the AI supposed to do? And correct urgency based on customer provided content versus internal triage. Yes, that's good. Yeah. So, okay, assign urgency level. Yeah, assign urgency triage classification. Yep, you guys are right on, right on. The AI, the task here is classify the AI, classify the ticket and assign the urgency level. It could be low, medium, high, or critical level. So that's good. So the third one, should AI decide or recommend? What do you think? Recommend, recommend. Yep. Oh, you guys are good. You guys are good. Yes, AI should recommend in this case, but however, because and then a human should review high risk or unclear low confidence. So for this one, you could have like a threshold that you put. If anything fall below a certain threshold, you could actually have those one automated. But if it reaches a certain threshold above the threshold, definitely had a human reviewing whatever answer, whatever the classification. So the second one is what could go wrong? The next question, what could go wrong with this scenario? And correct assessment, yes. Low priority assigned to a measure, exactly, exactly. Yep. Lack of pattern understanding, yep. Yep, that's good. Yeah, exactly. A serious issue could be marked as low priority. And then, or you could also have our biases. Bias could affect certain customer. The AI may miss the context, or like you say, misclassify, and then this will have serious business impact. So the last question is, what feedback loop should exist? So what feedback loop? Remember, that's how we learn, from mistakes, and that's how we correct. Make priority scoring teachable. I think teachable, yes. Feedback loop, make priority scoring teachable. Yes, exactly. Yep. Yep. Lesson learned, summary report. Yes. Good. Those are all good answer, And I could also add that humans should, so when there's a mistake, humans should correct the wrong. Let's say we said earlier that an urgent An urgent ticket could be classified as low urgency, so humans should go and correct it, flag the error, track the pattern, feed, but now the most important is feed the correct answer back into the model to improve the process. All right. So I want you to see just with this small, yes, review assess, yeah, human human versus AI recommendation. Yep. Now those are all good. Those are all great. So as you can see, this sorry, this seemed like a very simple workflow, but as you can see, how quickly even a simple AI use case can become a governance conversation. I could create, So as we about to end this presentation, to help bring everything together that we have talked about tonight, here are 6 practices for responsible AI adoption. Responsible AI adoption require more than enthusiasm. It needs practical habits that business professionals can influence. It needs AI literacy, not just familiarity with tools. It needs strategy before adopting the tools. It needs human in the loop decision point, feedback path, governance council, and also broader advocacy. Advocacy matter because project manager and business analysts and business leader should not only influence internal workflow, they can also ask vendor hard questions, advocate for transparency, support regulation, and push for guardrail from frontier AI company and policymaker. You see, internal governance can reduce harm inside one organization, but public governance is needed to change the incentive shaping the entire AI ecosystem. So as we close, I want to reiterate that augmentation, it's a choice. AI has been built to mimic human capability. This creates replacement pressure. AI that augment rather than replace would not happen by accident. It would happen because people like you and me choose to build differently, question differently, govern differently, speak up before the default path that we're on now become irreversible. But the future is still not fixed. Business analyst, project manager, product leader, executive, policymaker, and all citizens, we all have a role to play in this. Our job depends on it. Our organization depends on it. Our future depends on it. And yeah, we have to be able to make sure that we leave a better future for the next generation. So as I end this presentation, I have a challenge for you. Within the next 30 days, I want you to identify one AI workflow in your organization that need a stronger human accountability and apply what you learned tonight. And it's only by practicing that, you'll be able to we will continue to develop this habit that we all need to build responsible AI. So let's choose to build AI strategy and workflow that augment human being rather than replace them. And if your organization needs help with AI adoption or responsible AI automation, feel free to contact me. My email is on the screen, or you can go to our website. Thank you very much.
Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, did you not get some good stuff out of that? I mean, even if you got one new idea, give him some kind of emoticon or something. Let him know.
Yes. And thank you for the screen scrapes.
Yeah.
I was trying. Okay, well done. So, one of the things that was interesting to me in this was the idea that the AI should not be a decision maker.
Mm.
And so I jumped into AI and asked it a question while you were talking. And it says that as an example for an insurance policy, fault determination requires human judgment because AI cannot reliably interpret nuance in witness statements, contradictions in reports, contexts around road conditions, human behavior under stress. It just doesn't understand. And that's why we need a human to do some of that job. Also, whenever we have to provide information to regulatory bodies of why we made decisions the way we did, AI doesn't give us the decision making, the judgment record that we need for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Does anyone else have another example of this?
And if there's any question, I'm also open to answer any question that anyone may have.
Right.
But I agree with you about just the decision, because the challenge is also the context. Yeah, we always hear about giving the full context. Like, yes, we could try to give AI enough context to give us something that look plausible and it looks good, but the reality is that AI doesn't have the full human context. You can explain the problem, the situation, and everything, but you as a human being, like it's still like that like the conscience, our human conscience, our experience, relational, all those things that just can make us sometimes make decision based on, let's say, empathy, because you understand this is the right thing to do in this situation. AI would just be cold facts and would do what needs to, like what would be the most efficient thing to do in a situation like that. Yeah, no, that's true.
Very
Yeah, I was just
nice.
curious about like I know AI is being adopted by a lot of large corporations, but what about like smaller organizations, like schools or like local nonprofits? How would be the governance structure work in a in that situation where you have like a lot of overlapping roles and people wearing the same hats, and it's just a smaller organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. What was your name again?
Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen, that's a great question, because one of the reasons why I even do, I'm very passionate about this is even more for startup and small organization, because when you don't have the big budget that the big corporation have, most of the time we try to bootstrap, right? Like with the, hey, AI can do this and that, and we just jump in. Hey, let me use ChatGPT to do this. We just start using this tool without having a strategy or understanding even how to properly use them, right? So yes, unfortunately, this type of organization don't have enough budget, to be able to hire an expert to come and help them even craft an AI strategy. Because yes, you could, especially for a small organization, if you know how to string a few tools, you could definitely do way more today with AI tool that you could in the past, where you would not really need to hire a lot of people. And that's where the balance comes in. Yeah, for a small organization with a small budget, how should I approach this? Should I just use AI tools to be able to get things done, or should I still keep what do you call it? Like some employee reduce have a well thought of headcount that would allow me to continue to do more, produce more than I could produce, but while still keeping human. Because as I was saying earlier, if we just adopt the tools because it makes them more efficient, yes, there's a short-term gain that we see right away. We could literally see the change right now. But usually there's also a lot of hidden expenses, right? Like I think we went through that. And one of them very soon will be regulatory risk, because as we start adopting this tool, whenever right now the regulation is still very loose. And that's one of the reasons why, like I always let's ask our senator to put, like to senator, congressmen, women to act on AI regulation to kind of to help regulate this industry, because later on, when those regulations are introduced, you are going to be exposing yourself to a lot of reputational and regulatory risk, which can be very dangerous or even bankrupt you. So it's worth taking the time just to answer your question. I know it's difficult, but it's worth taking your time. A serious organization out there, as small as they are, find someone that could, if Purdue has some great resource, find someone that could come and even volunteer to help you at least think through an AI strategy so that you at least have a pathway when adopting, or you can contact me.
Thank you.
I'll be willing to do that.
One thing that you said that really struck a nerve with me is that if we have young BAs, new BAs that don't get the experience and they rely on AI to do everything, they're not going to learn how to do it. Just like young developers or young anything. We've got to
Mhm.
make the mistakes to learn the lessons and to strengthen our skills and our creativity and our understanding of techniques. Uh, and then there's on top of that, there is the idea that we tell AI to do something and we package what it gives us and we send it out and it never goes through our brain. So
Yeah.
we don't have the information in our brain to sit in the next meeting and catch those things or to explain things. We have become redundant because we have taken ourselves out of the loop. We've put AI in our place. So it's really important that we don't use AI for everything. We use it strategically. We use it in ways that help us do better, but we don't use it in a way that's going to handicap us. Thank you so much for your participation today. Thank you for presenting to us, and thank you for those of you who listened. We are at the end of our time, and so we must close, but I sincerely appreciate this. Would you mind if they reached out to you on LinkedIn if they have any questions?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, wonderful. So this recording, the link to this recording will go out with the email that says thank you for participating in this event. And we look forward to seeing you next week with our next event. If you know someone that can benefit from these, we can only help them if they attend. So please do tell people. And if you know somebody who's interested in speaking, we do have speaking opportunities listed at the bottom of our first page on our main webpage. It says call for speakers or application for speakers or whatever. Um, you probably have the experience to tell us something we need to know. So think about it. I'll talk to y'all next week. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.